before we get fully into the workout, as promised, update, because we only had 2 videos last week. So didn't get to see really much of how the rest of the week panned out. It was just Monday and Tuesday that y'all got to see. But as the week went on, we didn't miss, the next time that we benched, we hit our shit, you know, which I was actually really surprised about, because I was, you know, like it's a big adjustment. You know what I mean? Like getting back into an advanced program where the volume is so hefty after being out of it for so long, it's a big adjustment, you know what I'm saying? Like it takes time, you know? It's not like we're coming off of the intermediate program, and that, like even when we came off the intermediate program and first switched to the advanced program, right? So like less of a drastic change. It still took more than a week to really adjust to it and not just be in fucking seething pain every single time we fucking lift it. You know what I'm saying? So just coming off of a beginner program and then just before that not really doing much for that long, brother, that's a fucking big adjustment. So because of that, right? The adjustment period is not just gonna be a week and then we're chilling. You know what I'm saying? So we get to the bench where we have to do, it was like multiple, I think it was 3 sets of 12 with like 310 pounds, you know? So I thought we were still in the adjustment period. I was gonna be like, yo, there's no way I'm able to do that. Like the muscle endurance is just not there, but we hit it. We hit it. We hit the rest of the bench shit that we had to do. You know what I mean? Every single day we did not miss. You know what I mean? So that's really good. I feel like, you know, we've made the adjustments for bench. Squat, I did have to tweak it on my pause squats. But the good thing is not really due to the strength, it's due to still having to build this up, you know, this muscle and get this muscle good to go so that it's not getting so fucking tight so easily every single time we're doing heavy volume. You know what I mean? But like strength-wise, everything felt good, but started to get overly tight, so we did have to tweak that. Kept the weight on, except for the last 2 sets where we were doing 5 sets, you know what I mean? Or 4 sets. We actually ended up doing extra. We did 3 sets with the weight, but we just had to tweak the reps. The only thing we tweaked was the reps. So we did 3 sets of the intended weight, pause squats. Just, I think instead of doing 4 reps, we were doing like 1 or 2. And then I ended up doing the last set with less weight, and then I did an extra set because I thought we were doing 5. So like I said, you know, I'm fine with a little bit of tweaking for the squats, you know what I mean? If it means that we're not gonna get injured again. And when we do tweak it, it's like barely any tweaking going on. Like I said, we were able to do the weight, you know, we were able to do all the sets too, just had to tweak the reps. So that was pretty good. For deadlifts, we weren't able to finish all the deadlifts because that pain in the quads was fucking kicking, dude. It was kicking, you know what I mean? Like, we got that tightness going on. Unfortunately, our quad has not made that adjustment. Not even an adjustment, you know, because like, we're still in a point in time where we've been stretching, working on it, so I could come in and have some deadlift days where it's fine, you know what I mean, compared to how it was before, where every single deadlift session was fucking destroying me. But we still do have our days, and unfortunately, I think it was Thursday, we had our day, and that was brutal. But we still did get done a decent amount of it, and it was a good amount of volume, so I'm happy about that. It was pause reps, sets of 3, with like 570 something pounds, heavy shit. You know, we just couldn't finish it out, but again, not that big of a deal. It wasn't due to strength, it was just due to me simply just like being so fucked up in my quad that I just couldn't do it, bro. It interferes in a way when I go into it, I just can't even get this tight. I can't even drive with it, it's just finished. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't amazing, because amazing is like we're getting everything done, but it was better all around than our first week. And I feel like we got a lot of good adjustments in with our body, and that this third, like we've set ourselves up for a good third week. So today we just have the squat and the bench. And yeah, just trying to start off on the best foot forward, you know, for this week 3. So we're gonna build up to the working sets. It's 465 for sets of 2, and just get active. Warmed up to 465, you know what I'm saying? I do feel it, you know, the tightness, but we did last Monday as well, you know what I'm saying? So it's not really a big deal because we felt it last week and we were still able to get it done. It wasn't until that 3rd squat session where I was kind of like tight to the point where I was like, I gotta tweak this. You know, I'd say it's more just like annoying because if I feel it already, just like I did last week, tells me we still have some work to do before this is built up to a point where I'm not having to deal with it. Realistically speaking though, it's probably not really gonna get to that point until I have my deload week. You know what I mean? We're taking a break off of the heavy weight, giving it really time to like recover besides just the 3 rest days. You know what I mean? Once we come back from that, we should be, I don't know about 100% straight, but we should be in a lot better shape than we are now. But first set out of 5, 465 for 2. I mean, it feels pretty good, you know what I'm saying? Tight to the point where we kind of have no other choice but to kind of lean more and drive more with our right, which is annoying because that in turn is gonna build up that lactic acid in the right quad and make it more so likely that we are just like metaphorically bleeding on the inside with our quad, but you know, whatever it takes to get through it. Good, and I would say good because it's starting to get to a point where it's just like, it's becoming more tight, not when I'm doing the movement and when I'm pushing, but in certain positions it starts to feel tight like in here, which isn't where we injured it. We injured like around here, so it really does just feel like a case. It's just more of confirming for me, which is why I say it's good, because it's like confirmed for me in a way where it's just like this whole area is kind of just like weak, you know, as we are recovering and whatnot. And then because of that, we're going through a long adjustment period. It's not just like getting the muscle endurance back, where that pretty much took just like a week and some change, you know what I'm saying? But it's a long adjustment period because of that, building everything up in here back to a place where we can handle this without it getting super fatigued and tight, you know what I'm saying? And it's good because it's not injury pain we're dealing with. It's not like we're rushing back into it. We're here, but we shouldn't be here. And just like, this is just too much, right? I can tell. It's more of like a weak muscle that we're training up type deal. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you take off, like you skip chest days, you know, for months, and you come back and you're hitting your chest shit and your shit is filling up with lactic acid quicker, you're getting tight quicker, it's hurting, but in like a good way, you know what I mean? So yeah, not only should we be able to do this shit without having to tweak anything, which will be really good for training this shit up, but it's like we have that, like we're gonna be able to do that without just like being very paranoid and just like I don't think this injury is actually healed. You know what I'm saying? So we grinded a number off camera, and we're on the last set, and I feel good enough, not to a level of tightness to where we gotta tweak this or take off this set, you know? So we're gonna go ahead and bang this out. A fatigue set, a little bit of a grind, held up, and feeling afterwards, I mean, yeah, it feels tight. Doesn't feel great, but I already explained, it's in a good way. You know what I mean? A good pain. I related to the pain I get in my quad when it's full of lactic acid when I deadlift. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, it hurts badly, but it's being worked. It's you know, approaching that point where it's starting to get overworked. It's hurting bad, but it's not at a point where I have to stop. Like, I only stop, you know, because I simply just cannot drive with my leg anymore because it's so cooked up. But it's like, we don't have to stop in a way where it's because I think I'm gonna injure myself. It's a different type of pain. So that pain is good because we don't have to be worried, as I already said, of being like, dang, dude, the injury is still prominent. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are not good, you know? So it allows us to know that we can keep moving forward on the advanced program with the squats, but also lets us know that we are working it. And when you work things, and when you take the necessary precautions with recovery, it will come back strong. You know what I'm saying? So that's also a good thing. You know, we're working the fuck out of it, not to a point where we're in trouble. And if you just recover right, you know, it will build back up and we don't have to worry about this type of pain. We warmed up to our top sets. Got 5 sets of 2 with 385. And I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be a little bit tough. You know what I'm saying? Under normal circumstances, I wouldn't be worried because I feel like we've already completed the adjustment period for bench, you know, and that where muscle endurance and everything is fine. But like, holy shit, dude, just like working, like my body working to stay alive and get everything done on the squats, it took a toll. And I feel very, very, very fucking depleted. You know what I'm saying? So because of that, I just don't like, I don't really feel all that strong. Like I could feel it as I was warming up for bench. So just praying for God to lend us some strength to get through this set. You know what I'm saying? Moved a lot better than I thought it would, honestly. Honestly, with how depleted I felt, it moved a lot better than I thought it would, especially for a first set. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I would be very ecstatic if we do this, you know what I mean, and have it feel not that bad, considering how we feel. And that pretty much, not even pretty much, that tells us like 100% confirms like we're past that adjustment period with bench and we're chilling. Don't have to worry about missing reps or anything like that. You know what I mean? And the only things we'll have to worry about that we need to get under control is just the quad pain coming when we're deadlifting, and then just building up this area as we're squatting, you know what I mean? So yeah, we got 4 more sets of that, and then very, very easy back offs. So we did in fact grind a bunch of fucking sets in a pretty short amount of time. We are now, like, we're already on the last set. I know you guys don't really get like a understanding of like how quickly we grinded them out because it's just cuts, but it was really quick. Like, I literally would just do my set and rest for like 30 seconds, you know what I mean? Which again, considering how I feel, you know, how it felt warming up, how it even felt as soon as I finished the squats, I'm like very, very happy with the way we're still able to, not even like the way we're moving, the way we're still able to, all things considered, move this weight. So we got the last set and then some slight back off sets with like 324 pounds. Yeah, like I said, I'm happy, very happy with the way we were still able to move everything. So now all we have left, excuse me, is 2 sets of 4 with 324. You know what I mean? And the nigga feeling good, man. Nigga feeling good, man. So we gotta go like straight into this. Really good. Week 1, day 1. You know, things are looking bright for the bench, as we already talked about and what you bore witness to. You know what I'm saying? Feels like everything is good and adjusted when it comes to that. Shouldn't be missing any more reps. Squat, feeling good. You know what I mean? Throughout it. Like the tightness, you know, it hurts in a way where it's annoying. Any type of pain is annoying, you know, but we can at least be thankful that it wasn't hurting in a, you know, injury type of way. It wasn't hurting in a way where it's like we really got to consider, you know, whether or not we want to go forward on this advanced program with it, but hurting in a way where it's like we can still continue on with the advanced program and operation, get back to our prime squat, and that it's hurting in a way where it's like we can tell we're just working what's going on in here, you know, that wasn't being worked and that got weaker as we were not squatting and building it back up, you know? So definitely feels worked, you know, in a way where, as I said, as we recover, you know, as long as we're recovering right, should build back up, we should be straight. And then, yeah, we didn't deadlift today, so nothing to talk about there. All things considered, you know, really happy. Again, especially, you know, just to reiterate, fucking especially just how we felt going into the bench, feeling like shit. And we were able to work with 385, 324 and zoom in without taking that much rest, like 30 seconds, and have it feel good. You know what I mean? So it's really good. You know what I mean? I love days like that because, you know, we have plans for revenge with the what was it, 55? And when I have days like that, that tells me we're gonna get in there and we're gonna get a fucking hold of 455. Wow, shit. That.